that means, OP, your valuation is going to come in 10% lower than what you think it's going to be. Hey everyone, my name is Opi. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about health, wealth and happiness. Today's topic is going to be about a lesson learned from a real estate deal. I'll see you back. Okay guys, this is going to be a short video where I wanted to sort of cover a real estate deal that I looked at a while ago. It was actually a property for us to move into, a nicer place than where we are at the moment. Not that this place is as nice as it is, but this particular house we weren't even looking, but it was sent through from a friend. We're like, okay, we'll check it out. The place was beautiful in terms of how it was built. It wasn't one of those houses that was built by a volume builder. This was almost a custom built house by a builder who really took the time, because the guy who was actually the vendor, the guy who was living there, is actually a builder himself, as we later found out. So he really took pride in building his home. And the way he's done the front garden, in terms of how he's done the cornices, just little things around the house, the floorboards, the theater room, the backyard alfresco area, how it was all laid out. In terms of character, this house really did have character. And at the time, it wasn't actually compared to house prices now, this is earlier in the year, it was reasonably priced. So what the agent told us was, if you give us a bid for $900,000, it's a done deal, And when we went to look at it, there was about another maybe 10 families going through. And bear in mind, this was time of lockdown, so there was a lot of interest. And the funny thing was, the agent goes, we did want to sort of wrap this up quickly and finish this up in a week. And actually, sorry, I lied. I said this was in lockdown. This was sort of in between the lockdown phases where things sort of opened up a little bit. So they could have gone for an auction, and we're like, there's so much interest in this house. Okay, so we went to look at it, say, on a Sunday, and then again on a Wednesday. And both times they had, there was people going through the house, and it was full on packed. And the agent's like, yeah, look, it's priced between $850 and $900. You give us $900 and it's a done deal. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Went back, I gave my broker a call and go, hey Jeremy, what do you think? This is the house, I want to get it. Should I do it? $900K. And he looked at my finances and said, yep, look, go for it. So I sent through my offer of $900,000, but me being me, I always put caveats, okay? So subject to, so to speak, subject to pest and building inspection, subject to finance, okay? As a minimum, I usually do those two things, especially the subject to finance. And I couldn't really work out why they weren't going for an auction, okay? And that sort of stayed in the back of my mind, because there was so much demand. If I was the agent, I would definitely put this for an auction, because obviously you can get a better price. So I get a call back from the agent going, hey Opi, we got your offer, thanks for that, but we noticed that you've got a subject to there, we want that removed. And I said, no, it's not going to happen. If I'm going to put an offer, it's going to be subject to pest and building inspection, and maybe I can remove that, but not the subject to finance, because the type of work I do and stuff, it's never a guarantee, right? So I didn't want to take the chance of putting an unconditional offer through. And then I go to him, hey, what happens if I put subject to finance, but at a $950, so $50,000 more than what what they were sort of offering? And the guy was like, I don't know, the vendor really really wants it unconditional at at the highest he can go, but he wouldn't even entertain an offer of $950. And that got me really sus. And I'm going, what's going on here? He doesn't want $50K extra, and he just has to wait 2 weeks to get the finance through. And we were sort of really trying to work out why. And and it took us a couple of days. Okay, so now we're on sort of Fridayish. I get a call from my neighbor, who's a real estate agent, who's actually the person who sent us this link, and go, "Hey Opi, that property I looked at, I sort of drove by. Did you see the petrol station?" I'm going, "What petrol station?" He goes, "Yeah, there's a petrol station behind the property." I'm going, "What?" And jumped on Google Maps, zoomed out, and you know what? There's a petrol station not directly behind, but almost sort of to the side. And I'm going, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" Okay, so, and then things started to roll. Okay, obviously I hadn't done my due diligence because it was such a rush. Didn't have time to drive around, didn't have time to sort of do these normal checks that I would normally do, because I would always, normally jump on Google Maps as a bare minimum and zoom out and see what's going on. And I thought I knew the area as well, but there was a petrol station that I missed. Call my broker and go, "Hey Jeremy, there's a petrol station at the back. What does that mean?" And he goes, "That means, Opi, your valuation is going to come in 10% lower than what you think it's going to be." Right? Because the banks determine the petrol station as a risk, because of one thing, it could explode. Another thing is there could be soil contamination and a whole bunch of other things. And I'm going, oh, and I've got young kids as well. So and at this point, I'm thankful, and I'm also kicking myself for not doing this due diligence. And thank goodness my neighbor had the foresight to sort of give me a call and let me know that there was a petrol station. And the reason why we couldn't even see the petrol station is when we went to the backyard, there was a beautiful hedge, and the hedge was really high. And I don't have any proof of this, but the reason why I think that these guys were pushing for an unconditional to get this over the line, not subject to, is because as soon as a bank comes in and values this property, it's going to be at, they say around 10% lower than what it is, and then the finance falls through for most people. But if they can even get someone to commit unconditional, whatever that might be, 800, 900K, it would be unconditional, right? They would have to settle on the property. Anyway, later on, I found out someone had given an unconditional offer of $980,000, and I recall the people who got it. It was a sort of an older couple. Maybe they've got equity in another property and they've got no issues servicing that loan. But the majority of the people who were going through there I just felt that they were sort of first home buyers, young professionals, and all of them, like me, would have just been out, okay, if it had to be unconditional. So I hope this sort of video made sense to you when putting in an offer. If you're not 100% sure that you're going to get the finance, even if you are, I would still put subject to finance. And I got told by a number of family members as well, "Oh, just remove it. Your broker said it's okay. Remove the subject to finance and put the offer through. It's a beautiful house. We really want it." And I'm so glad I stuck to my guns and said, "Nah, there's too many unknowns here. I don't want to do it in terms of getting the finance through." So I stuck to my guns and I didn't remove that subject to. So lesson learned, lesson learned for me big time, that no matter how they push you, got to do your due diligence, and I recommend you do the same. So I hope you got something out of this video. But let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Take care. Bye.